Hello and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. It is yet again another month, which is kind of crazy to me because some of these days feel like they're just crawling by, but then other days I blink and another month is already over and we're just getting closer and closer to 2024 getting wrapped up, which again is absolutely ridiculous to me. But since it is another month, I will be doing the usual of going over my purchases for the previous month, which is the month of July. And at the risk of sounding like a broken record, just in case you're coming across one of my videos for the first time, my manga collection plan for the year is to focus on very specific titles. So that's mostly what I will be featuring in my haul videos. And then I'll have sprinklings of new stuff here and there, either new to me or new releases that actually did just come out, or series that I'm continuing to collect because I'm enjoying reading them. So I'm just putting that out there as a disclaimer. And now I'm going to jump right into my haul for the month of July. The first two things I have here are box sets, both shoujo series. The very first one is Blackbird. This was a series that came out I want to say like mid 2000s, around like 2007, and I read it up until it got completed. I used to be so obsessed with this series. It's a fantasy shoujo series with influence of stuff like Japanese folklore, like yokai and stuff like that, if you're familiar with them. So I really did enjoy it. It had lots of eye candy. The guys were very attractive, so that was definitely one of the things that attracted me to reading it when I was younger. But that wasn't really my favorite part of it. I just liked the more like traditional and historical setting of it and the Japanese folklore influence, like I said earlier. I feel like there might be a chance a lot of people are not familiar with the series, so I'll try to do a quick run through of what it's about. So you have this young girl who is able to see demons and spirits and stuff like that, and there are just things that she can see, very harmless, until her 16th birthday when things take a turn and she notices that they're trying to kill her. And while all of this is going on, she runs into a childhood friend who was also her first love, who mentions to her that on her 16th birthday, she basically became like this demon fruit, or like this fruit that demons can consume and gain an immense amount of power. So for that reason, they're all trying to consume her so they can gain that power. And her childhood friend happens to be someone from the 𝕤𝕠𝕟𝕚 clan, and he's trying to protect her throughout all of this. But she also finds out that if he marries her, aside from him just gaining that power that she's able to offer as the fruit, it becomes like a very prosperous thing for his entire clan. So not only is he able to gain that power, he's able to gain it for his entire clan. So all of that is going on, and I just really loved this story. I would also mention that this is one of those series that in hindsight you realize is actually quite problematic. So think of series like Vampire Knight. I absolutely loved Vampire Knight while I was growing up, but it was also a car crash of a series, and I'm going to lump Blackbird into the same category as Vampire Knight. The box set comes with all 18 volumes of the series and an exclusive memorial illustration book that I'm really excited to see. I have no idea what that looks like. This is still wrapped as I'm holding it right here, but I'll try to do an overlay of opening the box and showing all of the volumes as well as that illustration book. So that is the first box set that I have here. And the second one is another shoujo series, which I think will be more familiar. I think most people will be more familiar with, and that is Oran High School Host Club. When I watched Oran High School Host Club when I was younger, I was firmly in my gender bender phase. So gender bender is basically a trope where you have someone of one sex pretending to be a person of the other sex. I hope that made sense. So you basically have a female character who is pretending to be a guy for good reason. I'm sure most people are familiar with the story of Oran High School Host Club, but I really loved this series growing up. I never did finish reading the manga, so I wanted to buy it, and it's a box set. Another thing that I forgot to mention when I showed the Blackbird box set is that I got both of these box sets from Amazon. I had like a price tracker on my browser that I was just basically using to track the prices of both box sets. And once I noticed that they had been at their lowest price for about the past 6 months, I decided I was just going to go ahead and buy them. I wanted to buy them for about 40 to 50% off, and I was able to do that. I can't remember how much exactly I bought them from, but I know it was within that range, and I'm just very satisfied with the purchase. This one is also 18 volumes, and it comes with an exclusive memo pad. Exciting. Also still wrapped, and I'm going to unbox it and try to show everything in the box in an overlay. So those are the 2 box sets that I bought in July. And for everything else, I've tried to separate them into like different categories so I can talk through them like pretty effectively. The first set of things I have here are from Tokyo Pop. So Tokyo Pop did a sale for Pride Month in June, and that ran through till the end of June, so through the 30th. But I didn't find out about it until much later in the month, so I didn't buy it until like very late June, and these didn't arrive till July. It was a 30% off sale, which was amazing, so I just went ahead to buy a bunch of things. The first set of things I bought was this series titled Lullaby of the Dawn. I think the 4th volume of this is already out, but I bought this series because I really enjoyed reading it. I actually read this through the library, and it was recommended to me by someone in the comments, which again, thank you so much for this recommendation. I really enjoyed reading this series, so much so that when I was done reading it, I decided to go buy physical copies of it, and I plan to keep collecting physical copies of it. This is a fantasy BL series that just presents itself as one thing, but then takes very unexpected turns, but in a very enjoyable way. Okay, so in this story, you have these priest warriors known as Kanagi who are chosen to protect this island from creatures that reside in a blackened sea. But when they fight those creatures, they basically have black spots on their body, and those black spots are slowly eating away at their lives. And by the time their bodies are fully black, they're going to die. And they are shunned by the villagers who are afraid of them, and it's just a very lonely existence. And in comes this young boy from the village who basically tells the Kanagi that he wants to stay by his side and just be with him. And I read that synopsis on the back of the first volume. I'm like, oh, that's really cute. He's going to get a chance to heal from the burden of this responsibility that has been forced on him, and he can have like a semblance of a very normal life and just someone loving him and taking care of him, which sounds very sweet and heartwarming. I just thought that was all the series was going to be about. But like I said, it does take a turn, a very enjoyable turn that I did not see coming. And for that reason, I decided to buy the series, and I highly recommend it. I recommend this series. If you're looking for a fantasy BL series to give a read, look no further than this one. It was amazing. I loved it. And then I bought 4 volumes of different series. Some that I was just trying for the first time, and then one-shot. The one-shot is Sharing My Destiny. I believe this is about 2 pastry chefs who are kind of competitors, and it just looked really cute, so I wanted to give it a try. Everything else are first volumes of series that I'll be trying for the first time. I have read this one, We Can't Do Just Plain Love. This is a pretty mature series. It is rated 18+. You have like an office romance setting, and one office worker who has a fetish, and then her boss, I believe, gets aroused whenever it's close to women or something like that, and they decide that they want to help each other out, which sounds like a ridiculous premise, and you think it's just going to be like a PWP kind of series, but I actually really enjoyed it. Their friendship was very enjoyable to read and just funny, and I plan to keep reading this because it surprised me. So the other 2 I don't know very much about, but they also looked very interesting. I had heard about Confessions of a Shy Baker. This is like a teen rated BL series, and it just looks super cute, so I wanted to give that a read. And the last one is Sweet for Sweets and Foreigners. I think this is a josei series. It's like an age gap romance between a foreigner and this woman who is an office worker. So that looked interesting as well, and that was the reason why I picked it up. The next set of things I have here, I was in Atlanta a week ago. I'm starting to lose track of time, but I was in Atlanta a week ago, basically during the Microsoft outage, which was not a fun time to be there, but I did make it back home. And while I was there, I decided to go to a half price books. I can't remember if that's what they're called, but I decided to go to one of those because they're not like super close to me where I live. I'm from a really small town, and I was able to pick up some volumes of manga that I was missing in my collection. I have the second volume of Descendants of Darkness. This is a very old shoujo series. I have the first volume that I bought from a local bookstore last year. I think this has an anime as well, and it is also kind of like a fantasy. So I think the main characters are kind of like Grim Rippers, and I can't really remember a whole lot about it. Just Grim Rippers is all I can remember about it right now. It's a really old series, but I really liked the little of it that I was able to read when I was younger, or that I was able to watch when I was younger. It also has a lot of queer subtext, even though they claim that this is not a yaoi series. It is just a shoujo series, but yeah, that's all I can remember about the series, quite honestly. Then I have the 32nd volume of Attack on Titan. I'm trying to collect all of this used. This is the 30th volume that I've found, so I have 4 more to go, and I hope I can find the rest of them. These books are in really good condition, by the way. Just thought I should throw that out there. The next one I have is the 5th volume of Blood on the Tracks. I read the first 2 volumes of this earlier in the year. I am really enjoying it, and I'm just trying to slowly pick up the remaining volumes so I can keep reading the series. And the last 2 volumes I have here are for the same series, My Androgynous Boyfriend. I have volumes 2 and 3 of this. I read the first volume and then I watched the drama. It's just a very heartwarming series. The title kind of tells you all you need to know about it. The male person in this couple is the more feminine one. He is androgynous, which kind of works for the job that he has. But obviously, being an androgynous person in a society like that comes with its challenges, and he just has a lot of support from his girlfriend, family, and friends and stuff like that. It's a really heartwarming series. I enjoyed it. Pretty short series as well. It only has 5 volumes, so I was going to try to buy all of it and read it. The next section, I have series that I am collecting as they get released. Yes. The first one here is Punch Drunk Love. This is a BL manhwa. I bought the first volume of this when it got released earlier in the year, and I enjoyed it so much I decided to go read the rest of it online. I believe the 3rd season of this series just started back up in July, and I haven't read it yet, but I plan to, just because I love the series so much. This is a mature series, but it is so funny. It is such a funny series. If you do not mind smut in your BL, I actually recommend this. It has a very funny premise, but then a misunderstanding that is quite possibly the best misunderstanding ever written in BL history, because it's not a kind of misunderstanding that annoys you. It's the kind that is just so funny to read, and I just love the series. I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, I love this. Then I have the 3rd volume of The Summer Hikaru Died. I also read the first 2 volumes of this earlier in the year, and I'm really enjoying it, so I picked up the 3rd one, and I can't wait to read that. 7th volume of In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. This is my favorite ongoing shoujo series. I just love it so much. And the last thing I have here is the 11th volume of Cherry Magic. Crunchyroll took their time getting this to me, because I believe this came out in June and they didn't deliver it till like late July, so I am very ready to read that. I love this series so much. Like, this is one of the best things that has come out of this year. I'm so happy to have discovered this series. It is such a lovely series. I recommend this. It is mature because there are some mature things going on in it, but well, let's just leave it there. It is a mature rated series, yeah. But I really love it. I recommend it. Next section are series that are new to me. They're not new as in they just came out, but they are new to me. I'll be trying them for the first time. The first one is Candy Color Paradox, the first volume. I'm familiar with this mangaka. I've just never read this series. It's an office romance BL series, and this is also rated mature. The volume is actually wrapped. I can't wait to read that. It looks really fun. And the second one is a GL series. I don't usually have a lot of GL series in my manga hauls. I tend to read them online, but I also think with GL, you have to consciously seek them out because they're not promoted as much or as often as other genres and demographic, which is kind of sad. But I have a couple of mutuals who try to highlight GL series on their pages, and I've just been trying to make a list of the ones that seemed interesting to me so I can give them a try. And this is the first of those. The title is Run Away With Me Girl, and I cannot wait to read that. The last two I have here are actually series that are completely new. Like the first volumes just came out very recently. There are two BL series, both with like a Yakuza setting, but one is more comedic and the other is kind of like a crime setting, I guess. So the first one is Mobsters in Love. You have this Yakuza boss and his right-hand man, but the right-hand man has a massive crush on him, and not in like a stoic, I'm going to hide my feelings kind of way. It's more like in a blushing, bumbling crush type of way. He doesn't do all of this in front of his boss, but you can see his inner thoughts, and they are just so adorable and funny to read. So that is Mobsters in Love. And for the other one, Keiyaku, you have a police officer and a Yakuza member who has bed partners who are very influential political members working together to solve a cold case. I know, very interesting. I cannot wait to read that. I think I'm actually going to try to read it today or maybe sometime this weekend because it just sounds really good. But that is the last thing that I have in the manga haul, and whatever day you find yourself watching this, make it a great one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.